In 1962, a young Yellow Pages salesman from Chicago took his sales skills and moved it to the radio broadcast industry. Robert Berman was one of 250 sales reps working at Reuben H. Donnelly, selling Yellow Pages ads. Robert became the #1 salesman at Donnelly because he quickly discovered he could reach far more customers by telephone than by going door to door. When R.H. Donnelly merged with Dun & Bradstreet, Robert decided it was time to move on. Radio was what Bob wanted to pursue, and so he did in 1962. With a wife and 2 young girls at home, Bob was introduced to local station manager Jack Schatz and started selling advertising for WYNR. Jack was a big name in Chicago and attracted all kinds of talented people to the station. Selling radio was an easy transition for Bob. In the summer of 1963, Bob wanted to open his own company. He did, and he named it Roberts Advertising. Bob rented his first office from a young aspiring politician named Bernie Stone on the 2nd floor of 2705 West Howard Street. 1963 was a year of many changes for our country. A young civil rights leader named Martin Luther King Jr. gave a memorable speech known as the I Have a Dream speech. Back then, 25 cents would buy you a gallon of gasoline. A first-class stamp would cost 4 cents, and a new home could be purchased for about $12,000. The post office introduced the zip code, and Alcatraz closed its doors. Technology hit great new heights with the invention of the lava lamp and the push-button telephone. And FM radio was first offered in new cars. The music world was introduced to Beatlemania, and a young trio by the name of Peter, Paul, and Mary had a top-hit song with Puff the Magic Dragon. In sports, San Francisco Giants superstar Willie Mays signs a record $100,000 contract. A young lady from North Carolina named Dolores gives birth to a future superstar named Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And a small college from Chicago, Loyola University, goes on to win college basketball's national championship. But the single event that would shock the entire nation was Lee Harvey Oswald's assassination of President John F. Kennedy in Dallas. That event almost single-handedly wiped out Robert Advertising before it even had a chance to get started.
President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
Radio stations all across the United States put commercials on hold and went to full-time news coverage of the president's assassination. There were no radio spots to be sold. Bob signed his first radio station in Elkhart, Indiana. Back in the late 60s, the cost of conducting business over the telephone was expensive and cost prohibitive. Bob would go on the road a week at a time with a small group of salesmen known as the Road Crew. They traveled to Midwest cities like Rockford, Loves Park, Kalamazoo, and Des Moines, selling FM radio because AM was too expensive at the time. Once settled into their hotel, the crew would call local businesses from the hotel conference room.
We left on Monday and we returned on Friday. We only stayed in some nice second-rate hotels, full service. I had arranged a conference room set up with 10 or 12 telephones, and we would call local businesses from the local phone books.
Many radio stations simply did not have the money or personnel to meet sales demand. As technology improved in the 70s, it became easier and more cost-effective to sell by phone from a central location. Outgrowing their space, Roberts Advertising purchased its current building at 3312 West Peterson Avenue in 1971. In 1983, Bob consolidated several of his companies into one and renamed it Radio Advertising. He hired a veteran industry manager named William Gallant to run the day-to-day operations. Bill ran the company during this transition and during other difficult times. Bill and Bob continued to work together until 2007, when Bill retired at the age of 80. Today, outfitted with the latest technology, a new generation is running radio advertising with new ideas and talented people. With a fantastic team of nearly 100 salespeople and administrative staff, Radio Advertising is far and away the most successful media company in the industry. Since 1963, radio advertising has sold more than 1 million ads. Tonight is a very special night for radio advertising. Be proud of the history you represent and the legacy that continues. Enjoy yourself tonight. You've earned it. Happy 50th anniversary radio advertising, and many more.